One-on-One with Jane Mitchell, featuring the legends.
Trevor Hoffman's stats over the course of 18 Major League Baseball seasons are impressive, history-making, and many believe Hall of Fame worthy as he becomes eligible for the National Baseball Hall of Fame ballot in 2016. Beyond the numbers, it's also how he performed that makes him a legend, a point of pride in San Diego, and revered as a consummate professional throughout the game. In this edition, we will hear how he is enjoying life and a schedule on his time. But first, we revisit his story and a most magnificent celebration of his career.
As the 1998 National League Western Division champion.
Trevor Hoffman has taken the mound to deliver an adrenaline-laden, entertaining performance with stellar results, literally from start to finish, retiring with 601 saves, more than any other in Major League Baseball history. And on August 21st, 2011, he emerges from the bullpen one final time, in dramatic fashion, with his wife Tracy and their three boys, Brody, Quinn, and Wyatt, to an ovation and a ballpark filled with fans, family, and old friends. All there to be part of history as the San Diego Padres bestow upon Trevor Hoffman a team's highest honor.
The retirement of number 51, once again never to be worn by any Padre in future generations.
On that sunny Sunday summer's day, number 51 steps out of his pitching comfort zone and once again delivers with humility and heart.
You know, I'm going to take a little page out of Tony's book, and that's what I'm going to say is thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been an unbelievable day.
This honor has been earned over time, and this is our time to reflect on his journey from a familiar spot, the Padres clubhouse. What's it feel like to be sitting here at your locker now?
Well, as a non-active player, it's pretty special. Pretty big honor to have your name still on top of a locker in a facility that you're no longer active. So kind of says a lot about what they think of you and how kind of what your impact was here.
A few memories with champagne, a few seasons
it's
with champagne.
It's always nice to have that stale smell of champagne. It's obviously the goal of any team is to be able to spread it around.
Well, I'd like to trigger another memory,
Good.
And we're going to go back to 1998. His makeup, his magnetism, as he's making his mark in the game.
So high, so high. I mean, your heart's pumping, and you're tight. You're trying to calm down, and you know the lineup. You know the three guys you're going to face when you go in there. But once I get out to the main mound out there, it's like whew, it's calm. You know, this is where I wanted to be for the last 3 hours.
The way you describe that day or your thought process then seemed to be how you handled your whole career.
Right. Well. Simplicity is a big part. If you have clarity and you have simple things that you kind of can constantly go to, things should work.
Simplicity and consistency have been at the core of his success, including his routine, a visual that's distinctly Trevor Hoffman. On the road or at home, he arrived early to stretch, run, and prepare for the game. By the fifth inning, he headed to the clubhouse, watched the game on TV as he shined his shoes, soaked in the whirlpool, worked with the trainers, then made it out to the bullpen in game face mode, ready to perform.
Trevor time.
Trevor time.
Yeah, you could set your watch by it.
It started as an idea from the Padres marketing department in 1998. Play the AC/DC song Hell's Bells to inspire the crowd as Trevor Hoffman is called in to try to save the game, the bottom of the ninth.
Trevor Hoffman.
Trevor time became ingrained in and celebrated as part of the San Diego Padres vernacular, not because it was catchy, but because of number 51's consistency.
Good night, everybody.
When we sat down with him in 1998,
I feel like a psychiatrist. I'm really scared of my job.
he had just returned from his first All-Star game appearance.
Pitcher Trevor Hoffman.
There's like 40 million people in there, and so the reality of where you were at really finally hit.
At 31, number 51 was emerging as one of the best in the game. At 38 years old in 2005,
I think we could probably use a different word as emerging, maybe evolved.
proving resilient, considering a few seasons before, 2002, he was playing through pain, and a simple arthroscopic surgery on his rotator cuff didn't solve the problem by that December.
And that became frustrating, and that became scary, and a part of out of control that I didn't like, because I'm usually always in control of what I want to do.
Spring training 2003, news of Plan B, a more invasive shoulder surgery requiring months of rehab. Is it hurting?
A little bit, but it's kind of part of the thing you got to go through as well. Oh. There's really no guarantees. There's no forecast of where you're going to be at. And a little scary, knowing what guys have gone through in the past and how determined you have to be. And the minute I towed the rubber and the bullpen mound, that the folks that are always down in the bullpen in Qualcomm started applauding, and then you kind of heard as like a wave, the whole stadium started clapping and appreciating that I was getting ready to go into a ball game. This was the 7th inning, and I don't even know if we were winning. And that was cool. That kind of, all right, this makes sense. And not that I'm back, but it made all kind of the hard work worth getting to that moment. That okay, now we go to the next level. Let's get back to where I've been before.
Welcome back, Trevor Hoffman. A perfect 7th inning, 1, 2, 3.
Opening a second wave of milestones, May 6th, 2005.
Number 400.
August 24th, 2005.
It's his 425th career save. He takes over second place on the all-time list all by himself.
September 24th, 2006.
Backhanded by the shortstop. Blum got a hurry. Got him! Yes! 479.
Trevor Hoffman has become the all-time saves leader in Major League Baseball history, and they're all chasing him.
You people deserve to have it. My teammates deserve to be a part of this at home. It's something tremendous for the city of San Diego.
Now retired, he reflects on that moment.
Proud that one league could be here, be a part of that, because there was such a gap from when he established it and when it was being broken. But really, it was so superseded by what our goal was, and that was to get into the postseason. And a few days later, we were able to do that.
The times that we spent competing inside these lines is something that is sacred. And I took it serious every time we had a chance to come on this field. But inside that clubhouse is just as sacred.
Trevor Hoffman is recognized on a plaque here at the San Diego Hall of Champions and Sports Museum, inducted into its Hall of Fame in 2013 for his outstanding contributions to the team and city. His humility is evident when he receives such honors, including at the event retiring his number, where he graciously gave credit and thanks to his supporters, the fans.
You guys have always had my back, and I appreciate every opportunity I had to step on this mound, step at Jack Murphy, Qualcomm, to do my work for you guys. I was wanting to make sure that I did the job that was in front of me to the best of my ability each time I popped out in front of you.
A significant time, June 6th, 2007.
I can see the fastball down the way. Joe West calling strike 3 on Russell Martin. I can see it vividly.
500 saves for Trevor Hoffman.
Another vivid memory, not as positive.
Excruciating.
Yeah,
it was tough.
The last week of 2007, with the Padres on the brink of postseason play for the 3rd season in a row.
It was a challenge to rise again after blowing the save to the Milwaukee Brewers and having Anthony be a part of not being able to see that through, and then not being able to have enough in the tank to make it happen in Colorado. That was, I took a lot of the burden for that. I felt very, very much responsible.
2008, a tough year for the Padres, but Trevor marched on, his 13th season with at least 30 saves, another Major League Baseball record. Then something many thought unimaginable. His contract negotiations with the Padres broke down.
Would have liked to have finished up here, but I think that the organization needed to move in a different direction.
Still, it took him a little time to adjust as he signed with the Milwaukee Brewers.
It was a bit scary for that stage of my career, but I wanted to keep playing, and so to do that, it wasn't going to be in a Padre uniform.
2009, another landmark year, extending his record to 14 seasons with at least 30 saves, and he became an all-star for the 7th time. But 2010, at 42, he struggled. What was that like for you, Trevor? Someone who is so accustomed to performing at such a high level, and the expectation is that you're nearly perfect. Tell us what was happening.
I think sometimes it's hard to compete with the expectation as much as it's hard to compete with the actual player out there. And so I was faced with a new challenge. You know, it wasn't just free and easy and getting people out and moving on to the next day. It was getting beat up a little bit and having to come back and rise above that, and ultimately losing my closer's position. So little knock to the ego, a little pride gets knocked down.
Especially as he was close to uncharted territory, 600 saves.
I wanted to reach another round number, and selfishly had to go about getting my stuff on track to be able to make something like that happen. But in doing so, it gave me the opportunity to kind of show my teammates that might have been young, that might be in different stages in their career, that now is an opportunity. If I'm going to talk the talk, it's time to walk the walk. When faced with adversity, you don't run for the hills.
Allowing himself to embrace history.
Swing and a bouncer, shortstop, Council, throws, got him! 600 for Trevor Hoffman, there it is!
As it turned out, we only got one more after that, and that's kind of all she wrote.
So after 2010, did you want to play again? Did you think that you could?
I had expectations of what I expected out of my performance, and if it wasn't going to be to the level that we'd all come accustomed to or what I expected, then it was time to walk away from the game.
The summer ceremony, with teammates, video tributes, and gifts, is a highlight of a lifetime, where he pays tribute to his foundation, starting with his wife, Tracy.
18 years she plugged away at this game with me, and it was her love of family and faith that kept us together and kept us going strong on the right path.
I told him beforehand, I said, I know where I stand with you. You don't have to tell me anything. And then when he started talking, I thought, okay, hold it together, you know. But it was very flattering. I mean, when he calls you your foundation, and he hit it perfectly when he said about, you know, my faith and the things that are important to me.
You gave me 3 wonderful children, 3 wonderful boys, Brody, Quinn, and Wyatt.
What have you learned most from your dad?
Think of others instead of yourself.
You know, if somebody's just not doing great and it's not their day, you just have to go the extra mile to cheer them up.
He's a professional
He's
parent.
just a loving dad.
Trevor will add his awards and acknowledgments, including a jersey signed by all his Brewers teammates, to his collection at the Hoffman home we first saw in 2005.
There's been some significant pieces and pieces that kind of paint the picture over time.
Over time,
It's a neat story.
beating the odds from the beginning. At 6 weeks old, Trevor William Hoffman had a defective kidney removed. Small for his age and always the underdog, he strived to be like his 2 older brothers, Greg, who'd become a high school coach and teacher, and Glenn, a major league infielder and coach.
The luckiest kid around to have 2 big brothers paving the way.
Trevor values his parents' influence. His late father, Ed, a Marine, became a singer and married his mother, Mickey, a British ballerina. They raised their 3 boys in Anaheim. Ed, a postal worker, sang the national anthem at Little League and Angels games.
And the things that we stand for come from the things that they taught us. And it gives me great pleasure, Mom, to say I love you and I thank you for the things that you taught us.
He would be proud. He'd look at him in the eye and say, job well done.
You watch a little skinny guy grow into a big, strong man that people admire. And to be honest with you, I'm prouder of him as a person than I ever could be as a ball player.
The Reds drafted him out of the University of Arizona as a shortstop. When he couldn't hit with a wood bat, he became a pitcher. Picked up by Florida, he's part of a controversial trade to San Diego, with a prediction then by right fielder Tony Gwynn.
We didn't just trade Gary Sheffield to get you and not think that you're going to be the closer.
Got him with a changeup. You can't believe the variety of pitches that Trevor Hoffman has come up with.
But I don't think any of us had any idea that Trevor was going to turn out to be the kind of closer that he became.
Trevor has been collecting a ball from every game he's saved, including his final milestones.
Trace let me have this little area,
One
the big
area.
hallway.
This is
And
the
go and
baseball
relive
wing.
your glory days, Trev. You'll have me back in here, and I'll have Channel 4 Padres going and all the one-on-ones up on the TV one day. And I'll just be back here just pretending I'm still playing.
2 days after the tribute, he soaks in the sun, reflecting on the experience.
It exceeded my wildest of dreams.
When I look up there and I see that number, I want you guys to remember that that guy cared about being a teammate and that he understood that to achieve true success, there's no shortcuts. Thank you.
Then, a surreal moment. Newly discovered footage of his late father singing Opening Day 1981, when his brother Glenn made his Major League debut.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's light?
Always wanted everyone to kind of hear my dad sing, and to be able to sit back and be proud of what he was about and all the accolades that he had gotten in his life, to be put on that stage without us but know that he was there with us was special, and he nailed it. He always did nail it, but he nailed it for everyone that was in attendance.
It really felt like he was there.
It really did. It really did, and I think all of us on stage were touched by that.
That our flag was still there.
A magical moment on a remarkable journey.
Star-spangled banner, yeah, wave for the land of the free and the home of the
Since retiring, Trevor Hoffman has put on a uniform either at spring training. Did you feel like grabbing a ball and nope? Really?
No. Very similar to when I made the transition from infielder to pitcher. The writing was on the wall. I'd maxed out what I could do.
Or moving around the minor leagues, working with pitchers.
It's not easy to coach. It's not easy to be honest, directly honest with them, because it does no good to sugarcoat things. But at the end of the day, I think guys appreciated the honesty of, you know what, I think these type of things will work. And it's all about getting them to the next level. It's about the player that's playing today. It's about what you can do to help them out.
Off the field, he's helped the front office with draft day, observed different aspects of the business side of the team, yet gravitates back to coaching.
Don't want to do it full-time at the big league level in San Diego right now. It doesn't necessarily fit in my world, but still being able to give back and be a part of the minor league system and player development does work.
He's dabbled in broadcasting on Fox Sports San Diego, both as a fill-in commentator and as a guest when he was enshrined in the Padres Hall of Fame.
But I also understood when things didn't go real well, the media has a job to do, and the last thing you want to do is make their job more difficult by not being there and being accountable. And I'm proud to be the newest member of the Padres Hall of Fame. Thank you.
He's long been honored locally and nationally for his charity and community service efforts. And with a salute to their fathers, former Marines, Trevor and Tracy now support the National Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation, benefiting local students.
They're so happy that they're going to get a chance to go to college, and they're so proud of where they come from that it's pretty awesome. Where I went up to Petco yesterday, had a chance to throw to Matt Kemp and Quentin and just watch Cots go through some drills with them, and kind of tried to apply some of those drills with the boys. It worked out pretty good. Some of the things I've been trying to make a breakthrough for a while,
going, gosh, the big leaguers are doing it this way. Let's try it, guys. And it worked out pretty good.
As structured as he was in his career, he's savoring his schedule's flexibility. Feels good to be home, though, huh?
Oh, yeah, home's where the heart's at, right?
Yeah. While his boys grew up in the game, he's missed a lot over the years.
Being able to go to their functions now that they're involved in stuff, and the face-to-face contact. When we had the retirement ceremony, Brody was starting high school the next day. And I never really looked at it kind of in that particular manner, but it was either going to be a great thing or it was going to be a lot of pressure to walk into a high school campus when your face is plastered on the paper of the next day, and you're on the news, reels at night before you're going to start high school. And he handled it well. He's grown into a fine young man. As a senior at Cathedral Catholic, Quinn is a junior at Cathedral, and Wyatt as a sophomore. Couldn't be more proud of the people that they are and what they stand for. We still have our parental issues that we always have to go through with kids, but they're growing up to be fine young men.
And Tracy has been
beautiful
busy.
as ever, and a rock of my life, and one that we lean on as a family quite heavily with her faith, and just keeps us. She's the glue that keeps us together.
Spending more time at their beach house.
There's nothing better than watching the sun go down every night and having a nice meal and calling it a day. So I'm lucky, man. I'm living a charmed life. Trust me.
As for his baseball legacy,
I still pinch myself every time I walk into Petco and look up on the batter's eye and see 51, alongside of the other greats of the organization. So, it's hard to put in perspective the immortality part of that's going to be up there forever.
Will that immortality be cemented on a national level? He becomes eligible for the Baseball Hall of Fame ballot starting in 2016. While somewhat reserved on the topic upon retirement,
if the writers feel that that's something that they want to bestow upon me, then that would be a great honor.
Do you let yourself think about it
Absolutely.
a little more?
My career's over with. There's not anything I can do to change it. I'm not coming back from retirement, and the numbers are what they are. My career has stood for what it stood for, and that's when you kind of hand it off to the writers. So now that some of my contemporaries are going in, Smoltzy and Pedro and Biggio this year are going to be inducted, Maddox, Glavine, Frank the year before. It's great to see the numbers of guys have gone in. And so you start kind of going, hey, that would be awesome. Could it happen? I think being in a specialty role is not a definitive number or type of career that you can say, put the stamp on it, send them to Cooperstown. And that's a little bit scary.
Only a handful of relief pitchers are enshrined. Could he represent the first of his era? Is having been the all-time saves leader, until passed by the Yankees' Mariano Rivera, enough? How will his limited postseason play and all the others on the ballot factor in?
I think those are things I can't concern myself with or control.
Then there's the steroid era. The fact that you came through that clean. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
clean.
Clean, okay. I think that is something that people will really value and appreciate.
But honestly, no one ever is really going to know if everybody's clean. That's kind of the bummer part about that era, is that there's always going to be suspicion. There's always going to be a shadow. There's always going to be, was it done on the right terms? I probably could have had a louder voice about it not being something we want to do and call out those that maybe did, but it's just not what you did. I appreciate the players today that they want a clean playing field, and I appreciate the testing and how it's gotten to the point it's gotten to now that it's not a wild, wild west out there. And so, it's moving in the right direction. Things are definitely better.
Why did you choose to play by the rules?
I think that's just the way I was raised. Not to pound my fist on the table and be higher and mighty. I didn't need it. I was pretty good without it. I wasn't one kidney. I was always kind of concerned about from a health standpoint that way. I enjoyed working out, and I wanted to look across the field and say, I outworked you. And I got a lot of satisfaction in that. And that was just kind of an edge that I wanted to create rather than a cheating edge.
Realistic that it's a rare honor with no guarantees.
Joe DiMaggio, 3 years. I don't think it's a bad thing to have to wait a few years if you got to get into the Hall of Fame. Not everybody's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
While he's too modest to stake a claim, in 2011, Hall of Famer Tony Gwynn and other Padres colleagues offered their take.
I'll say it, he's the Hall of Fame, without question. Without question.
It's just hard to find in sports where, teammates, opponents, fans, media can all have this mutual respect for this one player.
Trevor did it through his guile, his understanding, and I think his drive.
I might have been here in the 70s, Tony Gwynn in the 80s, but definitely the 90s were dominated by Trevor Hoffman.
A lot of things that I learned about how the game works and how you're supposed to conduct yourself as a professional, I learned obviously from my dad, but a lot from Trevor too, watching how he did his thing too.
The thing I'll hang my hat on is that I showed up every day, worked hard, tried to be a good teammate, and while some of the bigger accolades weren't there, it was a pretty consistent career, and if it stacks up, it stacks up.
His priorities never wavering.
Stay grounded with the things that are important in your life, the most important things that are going to be there forever, and that's your family and friends and your faith. You know what? You'll be okay.
Fans, players, family, friends, the media, we have all witnessed Trevor Hoffman's legacy in the making. No matter what the next accolades may be for number 51, we can all learn from what Trevor's time and actions mean. They are a benchmark for integrity, resilience, and an understanding that to achieve true success, there are no shortcuts. I'm Jane Mitchell. Thank you for watching One on One.
For backstory content, visit 4sd.com.